Why is life getting so expensive despite the peak of technology? It feels like we're constantly running on a financial treadmill, doesn't it? The world is bursting with mind-blowing technology, supercomputers in our pockets, cars that practically drive themselves, breakthroughs in medicine we only dreamed of. So, why does it feel like simply existing, just paying for the basics, is becoming harder and harder? Why is it that the very advancements that promise efficiency and abundance seem to leave our wallets feeling thinner? We're living in a strange paradox, a time where humanity has never been more advanced, yet the cost of living keeps soaring. We see incredible innovation all around us, from AI-powered gadgets to incredible scientific discoveries. But the everyday struggle to afford a decent life seems to intensify for so many. This isn't just a feeling, it's a deep economic puzzle. We're going to pull back the curtain today and look at 5 big reasons why life feels like it's getting so expensive, even as technology reaches dizzying heights. Get ready, because what you're about to hear might just change how you see the world and your bank account. Think about it. Just a few decades ago, things like high-speed internet, GPS, or even a cell phone were pure science fiction. Now, they're not just commonplace, they're essential. These technological marvels are supposed to make everything faster, cheaper, and more accessible. They've supercharged industries, streamlined processes, and connected the world in ways we never thought possible. Yet, despite all this incredible progress, the price tag on almost everything, from your morning coffee to your monthly rent, seems to climb relentlessly. This creates a peculiar situation, a real head-scratcher. We have more computing power than entire governments did a generation ago, squeezed into a device you carry in your pocket. We have factories churning out goods with robotic precision, faster and with fewer errors than ever before. You'd expect these efficiencies to lead to a golden age of affordability, where the necessities of life become cheaper and more plentiful. Instead, for many of us, it feels like we have less financial breathing room, not more. We're left wondering, if technology is so good at solving problems, why isn't it solving the problem of our shrinking budgets? Understanding this paradox requires us to dig deeper, examining several interconnected factors that are shaping our economic reality. It's a complex web, but we'll untangle it piece by piece. Let's start with a big one: how companies price things. Technology is a superstar at making things efficient. It can automate tasks, optimize supply chains, and cut down on waste. This means that producing goods and services can become significantly cheaper and faster than ever before. You'd think these savings would get passed on to us, the consumers, right? Well, often they don't. Imagine a construction company building houses. Traditionally, this is a labor-intensive, time-consuming process. But now, this company invests in cutting-edge technology, drones for surveying, advanced prefabricated materials, robotic assemblers. They can now build a house in half the time, with less manual labor and fewer mistakes. This is a massive efficiency gain. But here's the catch. When they sell that house, do they sell it for half the price because they built it in half the time? Almost certainly not. What often happens is that the company pockets those efficiency gains. They maintain a similar premium for the consumer, or even raise it, because the market can bear it. The profits they make from each house skyrocket. This is a classic cost-plus model, but with a twist. The cost part shrinks due to tech. But the profit margin often expands, or at least stays the same, instead of shrinking with the cost. This isn't necessarily malicious. It's often how businesses operate to maximize shareholder value. But for us, the consumer, it means the incredible leaps in productivity offered by technology often translate into increased corporate profits rather than significant price drops in our everyday lives. It's like finding a shortcut to the finish line, but instead of everyone getting there faster and cheaper, only the person who found the shortcut benefits disproportionately. This profit inflation means that while the economy as a whole might be producing more with less, that benefit isn't flowing down to our pockets in the form of cheaper goods. Even if technology makes things incredibly efficient, it's constantly battling a powerful, invisible enemy: inflation. Think of inflation as a relentless tide, slowly but surely eroding the sand beneath your feet. No matter how sturdy your stance, no matter how many technological advancements we achieve, innovation alone cannot completely outpace the broader forces that push prices upwards across the entire economy. One of the most significant drivers of this tide can be government policies. When governments print more money or inject massive amounts of liquidity into the economy, it's like adding more water to a pool without increasing its size. Suddenly, there's more money chasing the same amount of goods and services, and the value of each dollar goes down. Your dollar simply doesn't buy as much as it used to. This isn't just some abstract economic theory. It's a very real phenomenon that impacts everything from the price of your bread to your electricity bill. Then there are global economic factors like fluctuating fuel prices. Oil is a foundational commodity. It powers our transportation, heats our homes, and is a key component in countless products, from plastics to fertilizers. When the price of oil jumps due to geopolitical events or supply chain disruptions, those costs ripple through nearly every sector of the economy. Your groceries get more expensive because it costs more to transport them. Your clothes get pricier because manufacturing and shipping costs go up. These are external forces that technology, no matter how advanced, can't magically make disappear. So, even if a new factory is incredibly efficient at making sneakers, if the cost of the raw materials has doubled due to inflation, and the energy to run the factory has gone up, the final price of those sneakers will still rise. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket. You can pour water, technology, and efficiency in faster and faster. But if the leaks, inflation, government policies, global shocks, are getting bigger, the overall amount of water you can hold and use, your purchasing power, still diminishes. It's a constant uphill battle against an unseen current, and for many it feels like we're just treading water. Now let's talk about power, specifically market power. Technology, especially in the digital age, has a peculiar tendency to create giants. This is thanks to something called the network effect. Essentially, the more people who use a product or service, the more valuable it becomes to everyone else. Think about social media platforms, the ones you use every day. They're valuable because everyone else is on them. The same goes for other big companies like e-commerce sites where we buy everything. These companies, by virtue of their network effect, achieve immense market dominance, sometimes even creating near monopolies. And what happens when a company holds such power? They can leverage that position. They don't just innovate, they dictate. They can raise prices, introduce subscriptions, or extract more value from users and businesses who rely on their platforms. It's like a toll road. Imagine a new, incredibly efficient superhighway is built using the latest construction technology. It makes travel faster and smoother for everyone. But if there's only one superhighway going to your destination, and everyone needs to use it, the owner of that road can charge whatever they want for the toll. The fact that the road was built efficiently doesn't mean the toll will be cheap. It means the owner gets to capture all the value. They can raise the toll without making any additional technological advancements to the road itself, simply because people have to use it. We see this everywhere. Cloud computing services, essential software, even certain app stores. These powerful entities, often born from incredible technological innovation, now hold significant sway over their respective markets. Their concentrated power allows them to dictate terms and capture a larger slice of the economic pie, often at the expense of smaller businesses and, ultimately, the consumer. They become gatekeepers, and those gates come with a price tag that only seems to climb. Here's another fascinating twist. While technology certainly boosts production in some areas, it simultaneously fuels demand. It's a double-edged sword. Technology makes products more accessible, more desirable, and more interconnected than ever before. And this increased desire, this insatiable demand, can directly contribute to higher prices, sometimes even for the very components that make the technology possible. Let's look at the smartphone market. 20 years ago, flip phones were the cutting edge. Now, billions of people around the world carry powerful, multifunctional smartphones. Technological innovation, year after year, has brought us sleeker designs, faster processors, incredible cameras, and global accessibility. This constant innovation creates massive demand. Everyone wants the latest model, or at least a reliable, functional device. But this sky-high demand has consequences. For instance, the microchips that power these devices, along with cars, gaming consoles, and countless other electronics, became incredibly scarce during recent global events. Demand simply overwhelmed the capacity of chip manufacturers. This scarcity, fueled by technology's ubiquitous integration, drove prices through the roof for these critical components. When the cost of making the brain of a device goes up, the price of the final product inevitably follows. Think of it like a baker who invests in a state-of-the-art oven that can churn out loaves of bread faster and more perfectly than ever before. Word gets out, and suddenly, everyone in town wants his bread. His new oven makes it possible to meet some of that demand. But to do so, He needs to buy significantly more flour, yeast, and other ingredients. If the demand for these ingredients also skyrockets because other bakers are also expanding or new bakeries are opening up, the price of flour itself will go up. So, even though his oven is super efficient, the increased demand for his product and for the raw materials it needs pushes up the overall cost. Technology makes us want more, and often, that desire outpaces the ability to supply everything cheaply. Finally, let's not forget the enormous investment required to create all this amazing technology in the first place. Research and development, or R&D, is the engine of technological progress. It's where brilliant minds spend years, sometimes decades, experimenting, failing, and eventually succeeding in creating the next big thing. But R&D is incredibly expensive. It requires vast amounts of capital, cutting-edge equipment, highly specialized talent, and a tolerance for risk. Think about developing a revolutionary new medicine. Before it even reaches a single patient, pharmaceutical companies pour billions into research, clinical trials, and regulatory approvals. These costs are astronomical. When that groundbreaking medicine finally hits the market, its price often reflects that immense investment. It's not just the cost of making the pill, it's the cost of discovering and proving that the pill works. The same principle applies across the tech industry. Developing a new processor, designing a complex operating system, or building a new rocket engine requires a staggering upfront investment. Companies aren't doing this purely out of altruism. They're doing it to make a profit and recoup their R&D expenses. These development costs are, in essence, an investment, and like any investment, the company expects a return. So, a portion of that high initial cost for innovation is baked into the final price of the products and services we consume. We are, in a way, contributing to the future of technology every time we buy a new gadget or subscribe to an advanced service. It's the price of progress, and that price tag is substantial. So, when we zoom out, we see that the rising cost of living isn't a simple story of technology failing us. It's a complex interplay of powerful economic forces. While technology offers incredible efficiencies, these gains are often absorbed by corporate profits, not necessarily passed to consumers. This efficiency also battles the relentless tide of inflation, global supply chain shocks, and governmental monetary policies that erode our purchasing power. Then there's the consolidating power of tech giants, leveraging network effects to dictate terms and prices. And paradoxically, technology itself fuels demand, sometimes outstripping supply and driving up costs for essential components. Finally, the very act of innovation, the research and development that brings us these marvels, is astronomically expensive, with those costs ultimately finding their way into the price tag we pay. It's not that technology isn't making things possible, it's that the benefits of those possibilities aren't always translating into a cheaper life for the average person. It's a system where efficiency is king, but affordability often takes a back seat. Understanding these dynamics is the first step toward figuring out how we might reshape our economic future to ensure that technological progress benefits everyone, not just a select few. The conversation doesn't end here, it's just beginning. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to keep unraveling complex economic puzzles, click right here to watch this next.